Okay, so for today's video, we are going to talk about when is it going to be finally time to let go of that problematic team member or agent. Let's talk about it. What's going on? It's your brother, your uncle, your favorite realtor's favorite realtor. And for today's video, I'm going to flip the previous video I did on this subject where I talked about how and when it's time for you to go ahead and break up with your brokerage. You can watch that video by clicking the link here or clicking the link in the description of this video. And now we're going to talk from the perspective of a business owner, a team leader, an individual whose job is to spear and sphere the careers of veteran and maybe even brand new agents, and when it's going to finally be time to cut bait on certain individuals or individual and to move your team forward. I think if you're watching this video, your focus, especially if you're running a team, is that you want to get better, get sharper, and get faster as a team leader or an indie brokerage owner. And if this video helps you in navigating the very, very unique situation of when it's time to let a team member go, please book a call at the link in the description of the video or click the QR code that you see right here. And let's talk more about your business and how alignment here at Real can help. All right, so it's that unfortunate time where you have to have a conversation with an agent where you tell them, and for lack of a better word, they ain't got to go home, but they got to get up out of here. And that individual for some time now, or maybe it was something that happened very suddenly, but you made the decision as a leader to sever that relationship with that agent. So let's talk about the times, I guess for me, in all these videos that I do, I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking conjecture. I'm not speaking what I read in a book. Everything that I talk about on this channel, I or someone directly in my ecosystem has dealt with this. So I hope this helps you. So specifically speaking to when it's time to let go of an agent, you have to make sure that you go about this in a very, very tactful way, because as a team leader or a brokerage owner, there are certain legalities depending on the type of hat that you wear that you want to make sure that you are ending this relationship in as compliant of a way as possible. Because again, in certain states, you may face, unfortunately, some legal ramifications if you don't go about ending the relationship in the right way. So one of the things that I do with every single agent that I bring on my local team here is I have a conversation with them about their goals. Of course, here at Real, we have a really unique situation where an individual can get support from me without actually officially joining my team. I have a couple different types of structures within my business here at Real, but one of those things is a marketing group where that individual is essentially a solo dolo agent, and they are moving and shaking like a solo dolo agent, but we might share marketing graphics and maybe certain strategies. And essentially we come together as entrepreneurs in like a Voltron-esque type of situation where they're still solo dolo for all intents and purposes. They keep their full split. They keep everything that they get as a solo agent, but they have my support in a kind of a quasi team, right? For those types of individuals, if and when the time comes for me to end that relationship, I go about that in a very nonchalant way, because when they joined my quasi team, if you will, we don't have any paperwork, if you will. I go off the honor system, and maybe that's something that I need to work on moving forward. But when an individual says, I want to remain a solo agent, but of course, I'm here in the state of Georgia, you're here in the state of Georgia, and I just want to be able to lean on you, Marvin, to get some ideas and some strategies. I'm here for you. I'm here for it, especially because in those types of arrangements, I am that individual's sponsor, right? So I want to see them win as a solo agent, doing their own thing, pushing their own brand, because ultimately, if they win, I win, right? Because I'm sponsoring them and I'm local to the state of Georgia like they are. So if and when the situation comes where I have to sever that relationship, it's few and far between, because again, the expectation was that there is no expectation as part of my marketing group. We just share, marketing, branding, all that jazz, and you're doing your own thing, I'm doing my own thing. In those scenarios, I very rarely have to formally sever the relationship. Usually in those kinds of situations, I barely hear from that individual. So it's one of the things that if I barely hear from you anyway, and you're still here at the brokerage, then you're doing your thing. I let those individuals just kind of do their thing, and if they need anything from me, I'm here. But if it gets to a point to where the individual on my marketing group, unfortunately, is leaning on me or has certain expectations that are outside of what we communicated at the beginning of said partnership and said alignment, that now they are leaning a little bit too much on me as far as what their expectations are and what they're asking for all of a sudden that's now outside of the scope of that relationship. Now it's time for me to have a conversation about, do you need to formally join my team, said agent, because you're supposed to be doing your own thing. You are solo dolo. You explained to me that you don't want to join me formally on my team, but now you're calling me every single day, if you will, or you're calling me about transactions that have nothing to do with anything that I'm knowledgeable on, when we have a broker team that you can lean on as a solo agent, right? So that's thing number one. And if and when the situation gets to a point to where that individual becomes a little bit too aggressive and adversarial, that's when I have a conversation with them about, hey, when we talked about this, when you joined, you said you wanted to join as a solo agent. You did not want to formally join my team, because if you formally join my team, of course, the expectation is that you will have additional support that is typically going to be offered to a team member. And for my hard work, of course, I'm going to be expecting a bigger piece of the pie as it relates to the commission, right? So when those types of situations happen, we navigate that accordingly.